Hello, Kentucky. Mark Pope was a real surprise for the Wildcats in his first season. But what else will make him the championship's top coach? Let's take a look at more news and learn more about Kentucky's captain. Mark Pope's arrival at the helm of Kentucky basketball was surrounded by doubts and expectations. For many fans, hiring a coach who hadn't yet won a game in the NCAA tournament and wasn't recognized as an elite recruiter seemed like a calculated risk. However, his first season at the helm of the Wildcats clearly demonstrated that Pope not only deserves his place among the greats of college basketball, but also has the potential to cement himself as one of the most influential coaches of the next decade. From the beginning, it was clear that Pope possesses a rare skill, the ability to transform a team with clear limitations into a competitive machine. Last season, he led a roster considered devastated, marred by injuries, inexperience, and absences of key players, to the Sweet 16, something the Wildcats hadn't achieved since the pandemic. This feat alone would have been enough to catapult him to national prominence. But what's truly remarkable is how he achieved it. With an impressive grasp of the game's tactical fundamentals, adjusting defenses, maximizing offensive potential, and creating opportunities where few others saw them. Now, in the 2025-26 season, Pope has one of the best rosters in college basketball at his disposal, with players like Otega Owa and Jalen Lowe leading the charge, and a system that seems specifically tailored to exploit each player's individual strengths. The Wildcats are positioned as one of the favorites for the national title. This rapid and efficient transformation is a testament to Pope's creative work. However, what could truly catapult Pope to the status of one of the top 20 coaches in the country isn't just the talent of the squad, but what he does with it. The expectations are high, and Pope has embraced them enthusiastically. He knows that to reach that level, he must not just compete, but dominate. Reaching the Elite Eight should be seen as a minimum goal, and anything less will be considered a disappointment. Added to this is the pressure of regaining dominance in the SEC, a conference now widely recognized as the most competitive in college basketball. If Pope can lead Kentucky back to the top of this cutthroat conference, he will be taking a giant step toward the recognition he deserves. Another crucial point is Pope's ability to develop his players. While he wasn't initially known as an elite recruiter, his ability to hone talent and maximize each athlete's individual potential is undeniable. Players like Jalen Lowe, who arrived at Kentucky with questions about their shooting, are being molded into more complete versions of themselves. This kind of evolution not only benefits the team in the short term, but also strengthens Pope's reputation as someone who can get the most out of his players. Still, the biggest test for Pope will be consistency. Leading a team to the Sweet 16 is a remarkable achievement, but repeating or surpassing that performance in his second season will be the true turning point. If he can guide the Wildcats to the Final Four, or perhaps their coveted 9th national title, his name will be impossible to ignore in discussions about the sport's greatest coaches. The pressure is high, but Pope has already proven he thrives under it. It's worth noting that Pope's recognition as one of the top 20 coaches in college basketball will depend not only on wins and titles, but also on how he builds his identity as a leader on and off the court. He has already demonstrated a unique ability to connect with his players, inspiring confidence and resilience. His work philosophy, based on meticulous preparation and impeccable execution, is exactly what Kentucky needs to reclaim its place among the sport's absolute powerhouses. With a roster brimming with talent and a system that values both creativity and discipline, Pope has everything it needs to be among the nation's top coaches even before the 2026-27 season. Will he? Kentucky basketball's offseason brought a series of moves that promised to shape the team's future, and among the most intriguing signings is the arrival of Croatian power forward Andrija Jelavic. His experience in one of the most competitive foreign leagues, a melting pot known for producing elite NBA talent, brings with it a mix of anticipation and curiosity about the impact he could make in the 2025-26 season. Jelavic is a modern European center, versatile, technically refined, and with a remarkable ability to adapt to the multifaceted demands of contemporary basketball. He masters skills that go beyond the physical play traditionally associated with the center position. With his ability to shoot from mid and long range, dribble in transition situations, and finish with a delicate touch of the rim, Jelavic has all the ingredients to be a valuable asset within the offensive system Pope is building. However, the biggest question lies in the transition of these qualities to the college level, where the pace of play and defensive intensity are significantly different. The competition for the starting power forward spot will be fierce, especially with Alabama transfer Mo Diabate also in the running. Diabate arrives at Kentucky with a solid reputation as an athletic and dominant player in the paint, traits that have made him a key player for Alabama. This puts Jelavic in a challenging position. To secure significant minutes or even a starting spot, he will need to demonstrate that his technical skills can coexist with the physical and defensive demands of college basketball. He must rebound efficiently, defend at a high level, and demonstrate consistency on both ends of court. What excites BBN and even outside analysts is Jelavic's latent potential. Although still a wild card, his skills have already emerged in decisive moments in international leagues, where technical quality often trumps pure physical strength. If he can replicate this versatility in college basketball, there's a real possibility that Jelavic will establish himself as one of the most complete centers in the SEC. His ability to create space for point guards with his perimeter shooting, while still offering reliable options near the paint, could create innovative tactical dynamics for the Wildcats. Furthermore, Jelavic's presence adds another layer of depth to Kentucky's roster. While Diabate brings strength and energy, Jelavic offers creativity and game intelligence. This combination could allow Pope to switch between different playing styles depending on the opponent and the moment of the match. The key to this, however, will be Jelavic's quick adaptation to the system and his new teammates. Coach Mark Pope has already expressed his anticipation for the Croatians' arrival on campus, emphasizing the importance of him integrating into the group before the season starts. For Wildcats fans, Jelavic's arrival is an opportunity to see something different. While many SEC teams focus on physically imposing athletes who dominate inside the paint, Kentucky appears to be betting on a more fluid and adaptable style that emphasizes technique and game intelligence. If Jelavic can fulfill his potential, he could not only secure his starting spot, but also establish himself as a key player in rebuilding Kentucky's dominance in the conference. There's still much to be discovered about what Jelavic will bring to the table in Lexington. However, his signing reflects Mark Pope's vision of building a balanced and versatile roster capable of competing at multiple levels. If all goes according to plan, Jelavic could very well become one of the biggest surprises of the upcoming season, and perhaps even a name remembered when we talk about Kentucky basketball's greatest names. Speaking of football, the season opener against the Toledo Rockets at Kroger Field will be a watershed moment. For many analysts and fans, the matchup represents a clear opportunity to reaffirm the program's competitiveness, or a harbinger of dark times ahead if the result is negative. Spencer Davis of Saturday Down South brought up an interesting point by highlighting Toledo's recent history of surprising road victories in the SEC. Mississippi State's dominating defeat at the hands of the Rockets last season serves as a reminder that college football is unpredictable, especially when underrated teams face sleeping giants. However, it would be a mistake to reduce Kentucky's potential to this underdog versus favorite narrative. The Wildcats, despite all the criticism, have elements that could make a difference in this opening matchup. Their defense, a hallmark of Stoops' teams, remains reliable. Even during the most difficult moments of the previous season, the defensive unit demonstrated consistency and the ability to adapt to opponents. This is where much of the program's confidence lies. However, the real test lies on offense, specifically performance of Zach Calzada, the quarterback chosen to lead the team. while his lack of significant games since 2021 raises doubts. There is also room for surprises. If Calzada can find his rhythm and exploit the available weapons in the air and on the ground, Kentucky can surpass pessimistic projections. What makes the matchup against Toledo even more fascinating is the bigger picture it presents. The Wildcats schedule, packed with tough matchups both inside and outside the SEC, demands that they start the season at full strength. A victory over the Rockets would not only boost the group's morale, but also help silence rumors about Mark Stoops' future. Some see the game as a sort of final judgment for the coach, an idea that, while dramatic, reflects the constant pressure on programs struggling to establish themselves among the conference's powerhouses. But it's important to look beyond the immediate. This Kentucky team is better than many seem willing to admit. Yes, the schedule is challenging, and yes, there are uncertainties on offense. However, there are undeniable qualities on the field and a resilient mentality that Stoops has cultivated over the years. Kroger Field will be packed, buzzing with the energy typical of a season opener. And if there's one thing college football teaches U.S. time and time again, it's that the home atmosphere can be a decisive factor, transforming even close games into memorable performances. While some are betting their chips on Toledo, the Wildcats have a chance to show they're ready to take a step forward. A victory could not only change the narrative of the season, but also cement Mark Stoops' work as someone who has managed to build something solid in a traditionally difficult environment. The beginning may be uncertain, but this team's heart beats with determination. Let's see how it goes. Comment,